Sometimes it takes the darkest methods to achieve the most heroic outcomes. Or, the worst ones. Marvel heroes and villains have boasted some of the darkest powers ever seen for decades. So let's take a look at 10 of the worst right now. Sometimes you're a great person, but you were just cursed with a dark gift that you need to find a way to use for good. Take the mutant Rogue, for example. As a member of the X-Men, Rogue is as heroic as they come, but her power is terrifying to think about. Rogue's touch allows her to take other people's powers, as she did with Captain Marvel. But if she holds it long enough, or touches someone without powers, it actually absorbs their life force. Everyone around her is in constant danger if they simply bump into her accidentally. It's a massive burden to bear, and a dark life to live. You'll often find the darkest heroic powers in mutants, given that they didn't have the ability to choose them. One of these is acidic vomit, found in the mutant Zeitgeist. Not only could he accidentally maim, dismember, or completely melt people around him, but it's also quite disgusting. Zeitgeist long struggled to control this power, and definitely had difficulty using it responsibly. Overall, when your own teammates constantly fear being bathed in acid, you're definitely towing the line between heroism and just being a hindrance. Some heroes were just made to be heroes in horrific ways. There's just no way around it. For example, being powered by the spirit of vengeance is probably going to turn a few heads. Ghost Rider has a wide array of powers, but his darkest and most terrifying is the Penance Stare. Given that this power comes from the darkest reaches of hell, the Penance Stare is enough to make even the most evil of villains cower in their boots. Using the stare, Ghost Rider can look into a person's soul and make them relive every sin they have ever committed. Not only does it drive them mad, but it confirms where they're headed. One of the most terrifying villains shares a color scheme with Barney the Purple Dinosaur, but don't let that fool you. The Purple Man's mind control powers are terrifying, and even the Avengers struggle to find a way to defend against them. The Purple Man can make anyone do anything, simply by speaking it into existence. He has severely damaged the life of Jessica Jones, and his powers have warped his personality, so far that he no longer has any care for people. It's truly unhinged. If controlling someone's mind is too dark, reading their mind may be almost as bad. Several psychic characters like Jean Grey have been gifted with the ability to read minds, but characters like Professor X and Emma Frost have taken it even further. They can read minds, plant new memories, or even erase old ones. Essentially, they have the ability to remove or change what makes you, you, and you wouldn't even know it. When asked if you want to know your future, you really should respond with a resounding never. Seeing the future is a terrifying power. It caused heroes to go to war. It makes you feel hopeless when there's no more surprises in life. Being able to manipulate people or events because you've already seen how they will happen is far too much power for one person. Not to mention they would eventually see their own end, and that's enough to take the pep out of anyone's step. Magic may seem fun and whimsical, but tapping into the supernatural side of things shows you the darker and shadowy side of the mystic arts. Characters like Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange have tapped into the more sadistic mystical arts. Using magic has its cost every time. It can send people into limbo or destroy entire universes. Tapping into the more evil sorcery has consequences beyond the natural realm. After the Marvel hero Speedball accidentally caused the inciting incident that started the First Civil War, he went on a journey of self-discovery, and what he discovered was a life of pain. Speedball became the character Penance, and went from bouncing off walls and enemies to creating powerful blasts that destroyed anything in their path. How did he do this? Well, he fashioned a new suit with metal spikes on the inside of his armor. Penance's new heightened power comes from pain. The more pain he causes to himself, the more powerful he becomes. It's a tough life to say the least, but after the Stamford incident, he believes he deserves it. Everyone's got a weakness, even Thanos. Being able to discover and exploit that weakness is a terribly dark and corrupting power. Often referred to as fear or phobia powers, characters like Moonstar can create a real-life version of anyone's greatest fear. They cause these characters to look into the darkest corners of the universe, and manifesting true terror is a power not to be wielded lightly. Overall, when your power is basically to make everyone fear you, it's surprising that everyone with this power isn't a villain. Bonding to a symbiote gives one incredible power. It increases their strength, speed, durability, and makes them nearly immortal as they adopt Wolverine-level healing abilities. However, being bonded to a symbiote is just a disturbing way to live. A symbiote will have terrible effects on its host. It can force them to become cannibals, warp their mind to the point of snapping, and worst of all, an alien symbiote will eat its host from the inside out if it gets hungry enough, and dispose of it when it's done. Harsh. Not every power is all sunshine and rainbows. Storm makes hurricanes, too. Some powers stoop to the darkest levels of existence, and it's the biggest burden on the heroes trying to use these dark gifts for good. What do you think is the darkest Marvel superpower?